Good morning. This is Rick again. Some of you guys have asked for me to do an update video on what it's like to be a CCA. And I've been with the post office now for 10 months. And I can tell you that I still love my job. In fact, it's probably, honestly, I'm probably kind of a rare breed as far as it goes for being a CCA, because a lot of people don't like their job. I personally love being a carrier. I love delivering the mail, delivering packages, and that's not to say that there are some days that are really hard or really easy. I guess there's some days that are easy. I want to say that most days are pretty tough, pretty hard, especially now in times of the COVID. And that's just something we're going to have to talk about, because COVID has changed a lot of how people shop, a lot of ways of how people shop, I guess. I've since moved on from the smaller town post office that I was in before, which actually had roughly, I want to say we had almost 40 routes in the smaller town. That sounds like a lot of routes, and actually there's some stations that have a lot more than that. In the district that I switched to, I'm on an island now, and that island has, I want to say it has a total of 20 routes. And being a CCA, our particular office only has 3 routes, only 3 city routes, which is nice because it only took me about a total of 2 months to completely learn all 3 city routes. I know that sounds like a long time, but I guess it just depends on who you are and how you learn. But a total of 2 months to learn the 3 city routes and be proficient in them without having to load scan your parcels or your small packages, what we call spurs. That might not sound like a lot, but basically the way that works is when you load scan a package, it puts that package into sequence order with your route. And so not having to load scan your packages saves you probably about an hour, maybe even more time than that, because you have to load scan each and every big package. We call them bigs. So you have to scan every big and every small or spur, and that can take an hour plus to do all of that. And so once you learn your route and you have it down to the point where you can just look at the package and say, okay, this is at the beginning of the route, this is at the middle of the route, or at the end, and you'll learn little things about, oh, well, I can do these packages first. There's a lot of different things, and it depends on the stations that you go to. It also depends on your management too. I'm very, very fortunate to have extremely good management. I mean, our management team on our island is absolutely wonderful. It makes working as a CCA absolutely amazing. The other bit of it is, and I know there's probably going to be CCAs out there if you watch this video and go, oh, you're not supposed to do that, you're not supposed to do that. But when I was offered the chance to come over to this other island and work there, I was told, hey, if you're going to come here, we essentially expect you to do rural too. Now, again, in our contract as a CCA, you do not have to do rural. However, I see it as mail, It's all mail to me. It's all just a different route. So I agreed to it. I'm going to go ahead and do rural. And I love it. I absolutely love it. The island, the routes on rural, a lot of them are pretty freaking beautiful. There are a lot of really great sites and a lot of great people that you're going to meet as a CCA or as a rural carrier if you decide to go in as an RCA. So it's absolutely great. I love it. My days usually start at 6 a.m. And right now, because of COVID, the package volumes are relatively high. And when I say relatively high, I mean essentially, especially on where I work now, the package levels are at Christmas volumes. I mean, they're high, very high. And so our start times are as early as 5:30. And if you're where I am, if you're on a route, you can come in as early as 6. And a lot of people ask me, well, what does your day look like as far as hours go? And that again depends on your station, the volume, and your management, essentially. I know that the new Postmaster General just put out this information probably, 3 weeks ago, about how he's doing away with overtime and penalty overtime and all that sort of thing. And I can tell you that has not affected our station. I start at 6 a.m. and I finish when I finish. Essentially what that means is I start at 6, I go on a parcel run, so I load up my truck with all the parcels for my route. And basically what that does for me is when I've completed my parcel run, which usually only takes about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, takes me probably 20 minutes to load my truck with all my bigs. You're not taking out your small packages, you're just taking out your bigs. And what this does for you is when you go on your route, when you have your mail and your smalls, this makes doing your route, I think, better, because you're not having to constantly jump out to do the big packages. And that also depends on your route too. The 3 city routes that we do on our island, you need to, there's a lot of dismounting. So you're going to dismount a lot. You're going to work a lot of CBUs. You're going to work a lot of mailboxes. There's not a whole lot of mounted where I am currently. So, what else? Oh, I was talking about my day, how that works. So, start at 6 a.m., do a parcel run. I'm headed to work now, by the way, if you didn't realize that. Do the parcel run, come back, and then I start taking a look at what I'm going to do as far as my mail, what I'm going to case up into my case for mail. I'm going to put up all my flats, which are my magazines. If it's a Tuesday like it is today, I'm going to have advertisements. That always sucks. Not a fan. I really don't like advertisement day. It really sucks. Every Tuesday is an advertisement day. And sometimes we'll have what we call a double coverage, where that's essentially like your advertisements and magazines. Or not magazines, sorry. Like we have this thing called the Island Review, and that comes out once a week. And sometimes, unfortunately, it falls on the day where we do advertisements, so we have this double coverage of everyone gets one of these things, and that makes the day suck. It adds like an extra hour to an hour and a half on your route, if not more, depending on your parcel volume. So then once I go through and I do my whole, get everything cased up and ready to go, I pull down my mail, load my smalls, load the rest of my bigs that I didn't get to take out, and I head out on the route. and then go out, do the route. That can take anywhere between 6 to 8 hours, maybe slightly longer. Depends again on volume. Mondays are the worst. That's just how it is, especially where I am at. And so once I finish the route, then usually what I do is we have two different types of carriers essentially in the postal world, and this is just my opinion. You have the carriers who like to do their route and go home. Then you have the carriers who like to do their route and go help other people. And that's the kind of carrier that I am. So once I finish my route, I always come back and they say, who is still out there, who needs help? And then I will find out who those carriers are. Management has the ability to track how many parcels that a carrier has left. And then I go out to that person and I will go give them help by taking their bigs, or maybe taking half their mail, or whatever that may be. So my day starts at 6. The end of the day, 7, 8 o'clock. Some people might say that's a long day, but I got used to it. After probably 3 months, I got used to just doing long days. And so now my days usually fluctuate anywhere between 12 to 15 hour days, 6 days a week. We have been getting better with letting carriers take 2 days off in a row, if you're lucky, or a day like, say, a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and like a Saturday off. Sometimes that does happen. That's rare, but it's also really great for morale, being able to take 2 days off in a row. I highly suggest that if you're I'm an outdoors kind of guy, so I love, on my days off, I love to go take the kids out on a hike, take them to the beach, take them somewhere outside, go outside. That's another thing I learned too as a CCA, and probably anyone that's like a RCA or an ARC, which is a package carrier. I can't stay in my house for more than an hour because I'm constantly moving all the time. All I want to do is just, on my day off, I get up in the morning and I'm like, all right, what can I do today on my day off so it doesn't feel wasted? So, something, anything. So I hope that this information was useful for you guys. I hope that you gleaned something from it. I'm trying to think of like any other questions. I still haven't gotten my clothing allowance, and that's only because I switched stations. That's kind of my fault. I got this shirt and many other shirts and pants and other stuff too from a supervisor who was working at my last station, and he just gave this stuff to me because he was retiring. So I got lucky in that way. I know this is a longer video. Some of you guys probably might not watch all of it, but if you do, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I'll try to do another video at some point. Maybe I'll do a video on like essential items for a CCA, at least items that I think are essential, things that I think you should have and use on a daily basis. Alright guys, take care, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. And if you decide that you want to be a CCA and you have any questions, or you're going to become a CCA, or you're thinking about applying, put your questions down in the comments and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Take care.